This is Ozzie from Wanderlust Awe Syndrome, where I provide unique views, advice, and stories for you, the passionate traveler. Today, we're going to talk about why you should hire a private tour guide. Hiring a private tour guide when you travel is a good thing in my opinion, and we're going to get into the reasons why you should get one. So let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is no group tours. When you go on a group tour, it's going to have these three factors that makes it very difficult for many people to want to do one. The first thing we're going to discuss under this is the fact that there are tons of distractions. When you do a tour group, you are facing a lot of distractions, such as you could have a crying baby, or you could have a lot of tourists flashing cameras all over the place that really takes away from the tour when you travel. This will limit what you can do and see because you can't focus on what you want to focus on, which is learning as much about the country when you're there. Tour groups are very distracting when it comes to this, and this is the reason that private tour guides have an advantage. It takes away those distractions. You don't have to worry about someone else's kid crying. You don't have to worry about people using their cameras on flash to flash that stuff. You don't have to worry about people bothering you about talking about whatever. You can focus on what you came here for, which was to learn as much about the country or state that you want to check out. Also, there's no waiting around when you do a private tour guide. Now, when you do a group tour, you're going to be doing a lot of waiting around, and for good reason. Because when you do a tour guide, that is that tour guide's responsibility to make sure everybody is accounted for. Now, this might annoy a few people or maybe a bunch of people. I know in my personal experience that it sucks having to wait around for people to get back to the group and stay with the group. We often would waste like at least 5 minutes of the tour, and it really bogged down the experience having to wait for people to get together, make sure that they show up on time for one thing when the tour starts, or when they are just so focused on other things that they don't be considerate to others. With a private tour guide, you don't have to wait around for nobody. It's just you and your tour guide, which makes it very simple, makes it easier to get through things, and just saves you time from having to wait for other people. Now, on the opposite end of that, there is rushing. A group tour can often feel like it's rushed. There's only so much time, and you gotta deal with so many people that you can only see so much. And this can take away from the experience of trying to learn about a country, state, or wherever you want to go. When you have a private tour guide, there is no rush. There is just simply no rush. It's easy. The tour guide can go with the flow based on what you want to do, what you want to see, how long you want to spend at a certain place. The pace is on you. It's not on the group when you do a group tour. And this can make the experience so much pleasant when you don't have to feel like you have to see something for 5 seconds so you can move on to the next area. Or you feel like, okay, if I don't make it back on the bus, I'm going to miss my chance to go back to my hotel or somewhere that I'm staying. It is important to understand that private tours are also, they don't rush you, they don't have you waiting, or they don't have so much distraction. The second thing we're going to talk about is assistance needed. With a private tour guide, your needs are taken care of. For example, language. For some of you, you're going to travel to places where your mother tongue is not the main language. I know when I go to somewhere, I know that sometimes English is not the language of the day. It's not what people speak. Having a private tour guide is awesome because they act as translators. If you need to say something or get something and that person you're trying to talk to or communicate can't speak your language, your tour guide is your best friend into communicating your thoughts or opinions or whatever. By having that tour guide translate for you, that tour guide will make sure that everything is mentioned from what you want to say. And they are your advocate. They will make sure that you're being understood. They will make sure that you're being taken care of. A really good tour guide is supposed to watch out for your back, make sure that you get what you need to help you. And having a translator there, someone, a local, especially if they're a local tour guide, will make the tour or experience much more pleasant. Another thing that we need to talk about on why private tour guides offers assistance needed is information. Prior to when you go on your trip, you are going to see all the information based on where you go, and they tell you a very detailed information of what you need to bring. On top of that, you could contact your private tour guide and be able to make any adjustments needed, and that tour guide can give you so much information and details of what you need to do to accompany your needs. They provide very detailed information, and they'll tell you what days are open, closed, when to avoid though. They do so much for you when you sign up for a private tour guide. They save you time and energy, and because they do most of the work, as they are trying to to make sure you're happy on this trip. You know, they a lot of tour guides get reviews, and those reviews matter because they are word of mouth. So if they could do the utmost job to make sure you have the best time of your life when you're visiting a certain area, they hope that you'll leave a very positive review, which other travelers who want to do a private tour guide will see. So they will provide the greatest needs to make sure that you have all the information that you need to set up and find the right trip or tour for you. Another thing that we need to talk about on why private tour guides offer excellent assistance needed is because of location. Look, when you go to a certain country or state that you're more likely not familiar with, a private tour guide, they know where to go. Often they're local and they know where every streets, they know what every lights, they know where to go. They can tell you the spots where not to go, where to go, where to go see it, what's the best time to go see that museum, awesome parks if you're interested in doing that. But the key thing is that they are very detailed at location, and they can guide you to places that you need. If you need to find the nearest store for whatever reason, maybe you want to cook at your hotel or Airbnb, they will show you the place to go. I know when I go to Brazil, I'm already talking to a tour guide. When I go to Rio de Janeiro, that would be my last part of the trip, to make sure that I can do some testing prior to going back to my home country, the United States, because my home country requires a negative test 3 days prior to returning to the country. Because of this, my tour guides already set out the details, laying out the groundwork. I'm already communicating with this person, and we're getting stuff set up so we could be prepared when I go out there to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The next thing we're going to talk about is private guide perks. Now, outside the other things I mentioned earlier, there are many more perks to hiring a private tour guide. One of those perks is control the pace of your tour. I mentioned it a little earlier before, but I'm going to go into more detail. When you hire a private tour guide, you control how fast or slow you want to go during your entire time that you have them. If there are some things that you're not interested in seeing, you can let your tour guide know, and the tour guide will adjust and focus on the stuff that you want to see, that matters to you. The person who is traveling is seeing the country. Again, the tour guide's job is to make sure you have the best tour as possible, because you will leave a positive review which attracts other tour guides. A private tour guide will help you show where things are and plan them so you can have a better pace and be able to see the things that you want to see rather than see crap that you might not be interested in. Another awesome feature or perk with a private tour guide is you get discounts. And what I mean by discounts is not only stuff to save you money, but time. With the private tour guide, usually they know people within a certain business, such as it could be a museum, maybe they know people from dining. You could get discounts or awesome seating depending on what you're trying to do. When you go to a place like maybe the Louvre, if you take a private tour guide, you could get skip of the line privileges, which can save a lot of time, headache, and effort. Who doesn't want to do fun stuff on a trip? I mean, that's the reason why we go on vacations. That's the reason why we travel outside the world, because we want to focus on having fun while enjoying and understanding more of the world. A private tour guide will ensure that you get the best discounts, especially a really good tour guide will offer the best discounts to help you save money, time, and energy so you can focus on having fun. And the biggest perk of them all is you get to experience living a local. It takes a local to understand a local. It takes a local to be a local. So with a private tour guide, they are often local people who've lived in their cities for all their lives. So they know the ins and outs. They know the culture. They know how people work in the country. They know the food. They know the places to go or not to go. They know how to communicate with other people. So with that advantage, you could gain knowledge of how to behave and act when you go there. And they make sure that you are safe at the same time, so you don't make any mistakes or do something that could be insulting or get you sent to like prison. But an excellent tour guide, private tour guide, will make sure that you get to feel like you are a local. The last thing we're going to talk about is meet your needs. When you have a private tour guide, one of the advantages is flexibility. Again, the private tour guide can adjust your travel plans, your itinerary of what to see, what to do. Also, if you happen to be late on a flight, which has happened to me before, I went to Turkey and I missed my flight and I had to adjust. I called my tour guide and told that person that I would not be able to make it on that day, but I could do the next day. With a private tour guide, they are very flexible. They will adjust based on your needs just to make sure that you can see it. Now, you might have some conflict with other people trying to schedule, but if you plan well and go to, during the off season, they will often have open spaces where they can be flexible. Again, they want to earn your business so they can try to provide you the best time of your life. So they are very flexible. You have the ability to hire any tour guides. There are plenty of places where you could go, and they are very affordable depending on what you are trying to do. There are some that are very cheap that will allow you to see different places. There's others that are very expensive if you want to do a luxury style type of tour, but there are plenty of options, plenty of affordabilities based on what you have in your wallet. So pick one that fits your needs. Also, there are so many types of private tour guides. If you feel like you want to do a foodie trip, you can do that. If you feel like you want to explore the city, you can do that. If you feel like you want to go out to nature and see what that country's natural beauty has to offer, you could do that. There are so many types of private tour guides that could fit for everybody from all different backgrounds. You just have to find the one that works for you, and you will have a blast. So if you ever are looking for a private tour guide, go to Tours by Local. Again, I am not affiliated with them. They do not pay me. I've used them in Turkey and it was awesome. I had a blast with my tour guide Jim out in Istanbul, Turkey. I had so much fun. I learned so much about Turkey and it was wonderful. Hi, my name is Ozzie and you're on my channel, Wanderlust Awe Syndrome. If you like this video, hit like, subscribe, and share this video, and come along with my journey as I explore the world and sharing unique views, advice, and stories.